Donald Trump's plan has backfired massively in his face. Donald Trump announced that he wanted to send United States troops to occupy Gaza. Trump said he wanted to just level the whole thing, get rid of it. Well, in the Middle East right now, multiple Middle East nations saying that they would go to war with Israel and potentially the United States if the United States did that. The ambassador from Israel to the United Nations had to walk that back and say, we don't even know what he's talking about. Even we're not suggesting that that should happen right now. But whether it's the countries like Jordan or Saudi Arabia, they're saying absolutely not. This is not happening. Even Maga Republican senators like Rand Paul are saying things like this. The pursuit for peace should be that of the Israelis and the Palestinians. I thought we voted for America first. We have no business contemplating yet another occupation to doom our treasure and spill our soldiers' blood, to which our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, responds, you voted for a psychopath. He's your party's leader. One of the things we're learning is that Jordan is ready for war with Israel if the Palestinians are expelled into its territory. Trump's call to clear out Gaza has sparked massive anger throughout Jordan, with well-placed sources telling this journal, Middle East Eye, that the U.S. ally would be prepared for war. Here, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations says Palestinians shouldn't be forced out of Gaza. Quote, I think we all agree that it should require the consent of Palestinians. I mean, what he says. Danny Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, backed President Donald Trump's plan for the United States to take control of Gaza, though he doesn't believe Palestinians should forcibly be removed from the land. Quote, I think we all agree that it should require the consent of people to move out from where they live and the consent for other countries to receive them. I mean, let's be clear. What Donald Trump was talking about was ethnic cleansing. It is utterly despicable, and it should be condemned in the strongest terms. Fox interviewed people and leaders in Jordan, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia who were all rejecting Donald Trump's plan to take over Gaza. This is from Fox, by the way. I'm showing you what Fox is putting out on one of their shows. Here, play this clip.
Chief foreign correspondent Trey Yanks has that part of the story from Tel Aviv.
Diplomatic shockwaves are reverberating across the Middle East after President Trump unexpectedly announced plans for a U.S. takeover of Gaza that would include forcing Palestinians out. The idea was quickly rejected by Jordan and Egypt, countries the president says would take in displaced refugees. Saudi Arabia also denounced the proposal.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs affirmed that the kingdom's position on the establishment of the Palestinian state is firm, steadfast and unwavering, and that this firm position is not subject to negotiation or outbidding.
That sentiment echoed on the ground inside Gaza, where Palestinian civilians spoke out about a potential forceful displacement of their people.
Trump's remarks are illogical. We have lived through a war for a year and 4 months. And then he comes and says we should leave our land. This is our land and the land of our ancestors.
Now, at the same time, we're hearing those very strong voices right there. You've got the utterly spineless MAGA Republicans in Congress. Most of them are basically whatever Donald Trump wants. Here is MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. Here, this is a typical MAGA Mike response where he's like, caught me by surprise, but if Donald Trump says it, oh, by golly, I think I like it. Here, play this clip.
Yeah, we're trying to get the details of it, but I think this is a good development. We have to back Israel 100%, and so whatever form that takes, we're interested in having that discussion. But it was a surprising development, but I think it's one.
Here's MAGA Mike Johnson again being asked by a reporter. So, are you saying this is American first to have the United States troops occupy Gaza and become a police department in the region and police the world? Here, play this clip.
Is that an America First policy to send American soldiers into one of the most volatile regions in the world and then suggest that the U.S. take control of a region that it has no claim to?
Look, there'll be more details forthcoming on that, of course. The initial announcement yesterday, I think, was greeted by surprise by many, but cheered by, I think, people all around the world. Why? Because that area is so dangerous, and he's taking bold, decisive action to try to ensure the peace of that region.
That's the propaganda right there coming out from the MAGA Republicans. Also, Kim Jong-un's press secretary, Donald Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. This is even more embarrassing. This is more embarrassing than the Kim Jong-un stuff. Here, she goes, everybody loves this plan. What are we talking about? The world is rejoicing. Donald Trump said he's conquering Gaza and sending the United States military to permanently occupy it, and the world is so happy. These people are the biggest liars, gaslighters, delusional propagandists there are. Play this clip.
Mary. I'll up on that, though. He also said that everyone loves this plan. He said that in the Oval Office this morning. Sure. In fact, the Deputy Prime Minister of Jordan called it a declaration of war on the Arab people. So how does he square the fact that even some Republicans on the Hill are objecting to this or questioning this? How does he square the fact saying everyone loves this plan?
Well, King Abdullah of Jordan will be here next week, so I can provide you more context on the conversations he will have directly with the President of the United States after that meeting. And I would just point out that there's been a lot of leaders and officials all around the world who have doubted, I suppose, the deal-making ability of President Trump. You heard the Panama leader saying that he would not agree to some of the concessions that he has now made because of Secretary Rubio's visit. You had the Colombian president saying he wouldn't accept flights of Colombian illegal nationals who have entered into our country illegally. And those flights are underway. So actions speak louder than words. Dasha.
As I'm sure you've been noticing, the MeidasTouch network is expanding rapidly, and we've got employees, reporters, and contractors across the country and the world. And I've got to keep track of all of our receipts and all of our invoices, the nuts and bolts of running a business. So I use Ramp. Ramp is a free corporate card that automates away your entire expense process. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt matching, categorization, approvals, the works. So for most companies, finance teams spend about 80% of their time doing tactical busy work, chasing down expenses and reconciling statements, and only 20% on high value strategic thinking. Ramp flips the script. It's a free corporate card that handles all the tedious financial operations automatically, so your finance team can focus on what actually moves the needle: forecasting, strategic planning, and driving growth. Also, it's super simple to switch to Ramp. For new members, Ramp offers a complimentary white glove onboarding service to help you migrate from your current corporate card to start using Ramp. Plus, you'll get a free metal card to use, an impressive tactical upgrade. Don't wait. We use it. You should use it too. So over 25,000 businesses, including ours, trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named the #1 spend management by G2. And now for a limited time, listeners of the show can get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/Meidas. That's Ramp, RAMP.com/MEIDAS, ramp.com/Meidas, cards issued by Sutton Bank. And by the way, this was on Fox as well. You have our friend Jessica Tarlov saying this to Jesse Waters and some of the worst propagandas. What are you going to do with these people? 2 million people. And Jesse Waters from Fox goes, send them to Greenland. Here, play this clip.
Saying, we could help. We could take a few, but you're talking about 2 million people.
We'll spread them out. So, maybe some could go to Greenland.
If you want to know.
By the way, I want you to just take a look at this angle of Benjamin Netanyahu during the press conference with Donald Trump. You can see even in Netanyahu's face that Donald Trump was saying the quiet part out loud, and Netanyahu knew that what Trump was saying was actually going to create more problems, significantly more problems in the Middle East. And Netanyahu's like, why are you saying this out loud? This whole thing is just, again, utterly despicable. But hey, they're saying the quiet part out loud. Now, watch Netanyahu's face, though, as you zoom in on it. Here, play this clip.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job. Do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation.
And then some more news to report, folks. Whereas once upon a time we used to boycott South Africa for apartheid, now the Maga Republicans and their Secretary of State, Maga Republican Marco Rubio, and Donald Trump's authoritarian regime, they're currently boycotting South Africa for being unfair to the white South Africans. That's being championed by Elon Musk. We are now withdrawing from the G20 summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. This shouldn't really shock you from an authoritarian regime here in the United States, the Trump authoritarian regime that has now sought to disband the CIA, disband the FBI and the FBI's counterterrorism division, disband and destroy USAID, disband and destroy the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, destroy all of our alliances, threaten Canada with annexation, threaten Mexico, engage in a trade war with China, then blocked all parcels inbound from China. And then Donald Trump chickened out and then said he backed down to China, but we still have tariffs against China. Donald Trump attacking the EU. So is it really a shock that Marco Rubio would withdraw the United States from the G20 summit? But Russia is cheering right now. Marco Rubio, Secretary Rubio goes, I will not attend the G20 summit in Johannesburg. South Africa is doing very bad things. It's like Elon Musk writing this for them right here. Expropriating private property, using G20 to promote solidarity, equality, and sustainability. In other words, DEI and climate change. My job is to advance America's national interest, not waste taxpayer money or coddle anti-Americanism. Folks, we have an authoritarian, disgusting, and despicable regime here in the United States of America. We call them out. We're starting to see protests take place across the country and throughout the world. And I think we're going to see those grow and grow in response to this crass corruption, this authoritarian, totalitarian, disgusting stuff, everything. DEI this, DEI this. These people are morons. Authoritarianism meets idiocracy. Our enemies are laughing. Our allies are horrified. America is alone in the world, weaker than ever, because of Donald Trump and the despicable, spineless MAGAs who support this stuff. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 750,000 followers.